South Sudanese-British fashion model, designer, author, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, Alek Wek was born on April 16, 1977. Her large but close-knit family lived in a house with no running water or electricity.
I was born in a small town called Wow in the south of Sudan. I have a big family, there's 9 of us. Growing up, I loved spending time with my brothers and sisters. It's a big family, so there's always, people around. But I would say at age 7 or 8, that's when the Civil War became really worse. One night, the militias came and they knocked on our door. My mom tried to close the door with the hitch, and they thought it was a gun, and they just started shooting, and we ran under the bed, not knowing what would happen. And that was really the turning point where my parents said, this was a wake-up call. We must get out of here.
Even though they didn't have much, her parents valued education. Her father, who worked for the Board of Education, insisted his children were all held to a high standard, speaking Arabic in school as well as their native Dinka. In a 2018 interview with The Guardian, Alek painted a relatively idyllic picture of her early years. We'd run up the hill to spot planes, and we'd take the cows to eat grass, trying to stop them eating the neighbors' peanuts. Sadly, her life, along with millions of other Sudanese, would be turned upside down by the outbreak of civil war in 1983. I vividly remember asking my parents, why do we have to leave? Why is the whole town burned down? Militias would come in the middle of the night, and you'd hear screaming and shooting, and the next day, people had disappeared. The police ran out of ammunition and could no longer protect us, and that's when we realized we just had to go. Nobody can comprehend what we went through. Eventually, Alek, at just 10 years old, was sent to the capital, Khartoum, where she was joined 3 months later by the rest of the family. There, her father underwent a hip replacement procedure, but as a result of complications following the operation, he passed away. Shortly afterwards, the Weks decided to leave their homeland. Alek's elder sister had moved to Britain before the Civil War and applied on behalf of her family for refugee status. In 1991, 14-year-old Alek and her younger sister were accepted, but it was 2 years before they were joined by their mother and 2 more of their 9 siblings. The remaining family members were given refugee in Australia and Canada. While living with her sister in England, Alek supported herself with odd jobs outside school hours. She learned English quickly, and after completing high school, she went on to study fashion technology and business at the prestigious London College of Fashion. Then, one day in 1995, while she was shopping in a London market, Alek was noticed by a modeling scout. And the rest, as they say, is history.
It was a street fair, and I was with a friend. And she came up to me, and she was really smiling and trying to be nice. And I was getting, bugging out, what is she looking at? She took a Polaroid, and she said, have you ever thought of modeling? She was like, she wants me to go in. And then I went in, and I was really nervous. And slowly, they start sending me to, photographers to test.
She's expressed that she finds it strange she ended up making a living off her looks, since she'd always struggled with a skin disorder that, she felt, made her look less than perfect. All her life, Alek had suffered from psoriasis all over her body, including her face, her flaky, itchy, bleeding skin making her feel repulsive. It cleared up in London's cooler climate. Before she hit the runway, though, she first gained attention in the music video for Tina Turner's GoldenEye for the 1995 James Bond movie of the same name. After signing with Ford Models, she'd be featured in more music videos, namely Janet Jackson's Got Till It's Gone and Busta Rhymes' Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See. Alek came to New York from London in 1996 and went on 17 appointments a day for about 6 weeks. The outcome of all those appointments? An editorial shoot for Vogue Italia. When designer Ralph Lauren saw her, he made her the star of his Spring '97 African-inspired collection. In the 90s, the fashion industry was almost exclusively white, which made Alek a trailblazer. She was the first African model to grace the cover of USL in November 1997, at a time when the industry was arguing that black models didn't sell magazines. That same year, she was also named Model of the Year by MTV, and ID Magazine's Model of the Decade. 2 years after that, she ended up on People Magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People.
So it was just me? No way. But
it's after a while when you really get to work, I mean, you get to realize it's not just about the way you look too, it's work, you know?
Alek would soon grace every important designer runway for the next 2 decades, including Chanel, Gucci, Valentino, Yves Saint Laurent, Balenciaga, and Alexander McQueen. Fun fact, she's the aunt of runway model Atuay Deng. Alek has defied all beauty standards, standing at 5 feet 11 inches with short hair, rich dark brown complexion, piercing oval-shaped brown eyes, high cheekbones, and whiter than white teeth. Yet, despite all of her success, her career hasn't been free from controversy. While Black models have found success in the fashion industry, Alek's distinctive ethnic features were a major departure from the industry norm.
She really is part of modern beauty and the expression of modernity in beauty.
People can actually judge me not just, oh, she's this Dinka girl, but they know me as, oh, this is Alek. You know what I mean? This is Alek Wek. And it's like, oh, Alek Wek, she was actually shot by Stephen Meisel the second time after she shot with Runway.
I think Alek is incredibly beautiful, and it doesn't matter what color she is.
Alek's success has also thrilled Oprah Winfrey.
This is a new day, America. This is a new day, America. If I had known that, when I was growing up, if you'd been on the cover, I would have had a whole different concept of who I was. You know?
Oh my God.
You understand that? You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying.
I'm really, really, really flattered, you know? I mean, because it wasn't just she said it. She really meant it.
But Oprah's not the only fan.
She's like such an unusual beauty, and she's broken all the barriers in the industry, and she just is her own look, and you just have to let her be herself and be beautiful the way she is.
Well, Judy's running this magazine called Arena, and they wanted us to do like a kind of profile on Alek, and I don't know, I think she's a goddess, and I jumped at the opportunity.
Big smile, big smile, big smile. She is such a beauty. She has such incredible features, one of the most lovely skin tones I've ever seen.
She ventured into the acting world for the first time in 2002, making her debut in war drama film The Four Feathers, in which she played the role of a Sudanese princess alongside Heath Ledger and Kate Hudson. Alek had another iconic fashion moment in 2004 when she became the first Black model to play the prestigious role of Chanel Bride, the closing look of the Masons couture shows. Though now discontinued, Alek also explored the design world by creating a range of designer handbags in 2005 called Wek 1933, after the year her father was born. Her inspiration for the designs came from the brass clasp briefcase carried by her father. Alek released her autobiography titled Alek, From Sudanese Refugee to International Supermodel in 2007. She added a couple of reality TV appearances to her resume in 2011 when she appeared as a guest judge in the 16th cycle of America's Next Top Model, as well as the 7th cycle of Britain and Ireland's Next Top Model. Outside of being a modeling superstar, Alek uses her own experience as a refugee to raise awareness about other refugees. She's a member of the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants Advisory Council and campaigns to raise the profile of the humanitarian disaster in the Sudan. She also works with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees and UNICEF. Since leaving South Sudan in 1991, Alek was able to return to her homeland in 1998 and again in 2005. She went back in 2012 with the UN Refugee Agency to celebrate their 1 year of independence. In 2018, she appeared on the big screen for the second time, with a small role in the film Suspiria, a supernatural horror flick and a remake of the 1977 film of the same name. In 2019, she sat down with experiential agency Visionaire, in collaboration with modeling agency IMG Models, to film an installment of Message in a Model, a new series taking a closer look at models and the stories they have to tell. In one portion, she reminisced about her favorite moments in front of the camera and on the runway.
I like to call it magical images, like when there's that magical time, because everything can be planned, but then there's something that just happens once you see that image. One of them is Herbert's, the Pirelli calendar, 1999, which I was December, future, and boy was it a future. 97, the cover of Elle, Essence cover, even the Pirelli calendar with Annie Leibovitz, with Nick Knight. I did beautiful picture with Herb Ritz for French Vogue. It's all Roman out in the desert in California. I can vividly remember that, with all the clay carved out by Odile. She did the hair at the time. That was quite fabulous. Lavassa Cafe, that was really cool. That was my first paid job. Chanel Bride, that was a really emotional moment when all the little seamstresses came out. And Carl was just, it was really emotional, because that's when I was like, my dad would be very proud if he saw this. Stephen Meisel, when he did the big story with all Versace dresses, Italian Vogue, and doing like a Balenciaga. I mean, that's like high fashion, the campaign, which was really cool. And the outfits, so modern and just creative, and loved working with the designer again, Demna. I love art. I love being able to be a part of the team. Betsy Johnson, I threw off the blonde wig. No, it wasn't really a blonde wig. It was like synthetic something, but it was quite funny. Now we have internet. It's like they keep playing it. But back then, you never knew, like, they will bring it back. Opening Ralph Lauren show, that was amazing. My first season in New York. Donna Karan. Closing Calvin Klein. That was really quite a moment. I loved doing all the shows that now they don't do anymore, like Toddledom. I'm so glad I got to do like the last show, you know? Looking back, it's been very humbling.
In an interview with Grazia magazine in 2021, she publicly disclosed for the first time a personal tragedy that took place in her life years earlier. I've never shared this before, but when my brother committed suicide in 2008, it completely changed the way I thought about things. No one should have to feel isolated that way. We need to help and embrace each other. We can make each other stronger. As far as Alek's personal life is concerned, she was in a relationship with Italian real estate developer Riccardo Sala for 12 years. However, they separated in 2013. Home is Brooklyn, where she indulges her private passions when she's not on the runway or shooting fashion campaigns, including cooking, writing, gardening, painting, and playing the violin.